Hey YouTube, welcome to another episode of News in 2 Minutes, bringing you the news that you need to know every day. Let's begin. The Senate Foreign Relations Committee approved a resolution on Wednesday that gives the president the power to launch a military strike against Syria in supposed punishment for using chemical weapons. In related news, the Russian president renewed his warning that the United States should not launch an attack on Syria as the country's foreign ministry released key findings in the chemical weapons attack that took place, saying that a round that fired the chemicals was one used by the rebels and not those of the Syrian administration. Multiple patients are being monitored in the state of New Hampshire after health officials say that they found medical equipment used in surgery contained the infectious agent known as a prion that can lead to the formation of Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, or what is more commonly known as human mad cow disease. Health officials currently believe that the infected patient contracted what is known as a sporadic case of the disease and are not seeking a relation to infected beef at this time. NASA will be launching a spacecraft from its flight center in Wallops, Virginia this Friday just before midnight in the Eastern Time Zone. The spacecraft will be seeking the latest findings in a scientifically accepted theory of the electric universe, as the team looks for electrical currents within the moon's atmosphere that may have caused what Apollo astronauts described as a glow on the moon's surface just before sunrise. Scientists are now suspecting that lunar dust may have been somehow electrically charged and levitated off of the surface, and we hope that their findings lend evidence and renewed interest to what independent researchers and astronomers outside of the officialdom have theorized for years, in that the universe is electrically charged. Leaders of a nationwide protest movement in Colombia are calling on demonstrators to lift roadblocks and clear the streets after the president launched a military campaign within the country to quell the unrest. Economies around the world are continuing to suffer as India's downfall deepened this week, and a stalled marketplace coupled with a high budget deficit forced the International Monetary Fund to loan over $6 billion to neighboring Pakistan. Over 200,000 pounds of poisoned fish are being removed from the river of a major province in China after a science and technology company dumped a disastrous amount of ammonia into the river. The story comes just months after more than 16,000 dead pigs were removed from a river in Shanghai, and reminds us of the Chinese takeover of the American Smithfield Ham Company, and that the country was just given the approval by the FDA to process meat and send it to America. And to wrap things up, the first group of Hajj pilgrims will be arriving in Saudi Arabia this weekend. The Department of Homeland Security is launching a real-time biosurveillance network throughout the world. A fire at an Arizona nuclear power plant caused 2 unusual events, and a 6.2 in Alaska, as well as a significant 6.0 between South America and Africa, complete today's Quake Watch. And that's it for this episode of News in 2 Minutes. Check back tomorrow for more news that the aware need the most. This week's News in 2 Minutes is brought to you by GoBerkey.com. Remove fluoride, lead, giardia, and other viruses with a high-quality Berkey filter today. And SQmetals.com for all your precious metal needs.